Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you had a nice lunch. Let's see, I'm going to stand over here. My name is Georgios Athanassiadis. I work for a company called Your Majesty. Your Majesty is a design agency based in Amsterdam that does digital products and brand experiences for, in particular, fashion and technology companies. And we work with, historically we worked across many different sectors, helping our clients create richer brand experiences that build better connections with their end customers, whether it's on web or it's in retail or apps, in the shape of forms of online platforms, installations, etc. And in the past few years, we niched down into the fashion and technology sectors. Historically, these two sectors have been quite siloed, so they didn't share that much together. But in the last few years, and I think the pandemic served as a catalyst for that, was that these two sectors started to converging. And that's where we decided to niche in this space, where we help either fashion and apparel companies use technology to innovate or create richer brand experiences that connect with their customers, or on the other side, help technology companies be more fashionable, if you will, and more human-centered and culturally relevant. So one of the places, of course, where these two worlds have met, I'm sure you see it on your LinkedIn profiles every day. There's a lot of talk about the Metaverse. I wanted to take a temperature check on people here. So who thinks, if you can raise a hand, if you think that the Metaverse is going to add real value to consumers? There's a few. How many of you think it's just marketing speak? Okay, more people see potential than marketing speak, so that's good. In the last report, McKinsey reported that the Metaverse can be a $5 trillion market by 2030. And getting there by disrupting and also creating new value for sectors such as e-commerce, education, retail, advertising, and also gaming, and many others. Personally, I think we have quite a long way to go. There's a few hurdles that needs to be overcome that no one really have figured out yet. My top three are the accessibility to technology. Right now, technology is not good enough or affordable enough, and also it's going to be just like, in order for the Metaverse to manifest, everybody needs to have access, just like we have phones in our pockets, you need to have something to access it. Hopefully there's probably a lot of you in the audience that are working towards better technology here. The second thing is interoperability. So in the sense of economics, information, and also now in the rise of digital goods, that being able to have a decentralized world, because also the Metaverse is one Metaverse, it's not several smaller ones. And in order for that to be one decentralized platform, there needs to be a free flow of information between different platforms, companies, and users. And the last one is, of course, governance. So if it's truly decentralized and it's not created by one company, who gets to decide what's okay and not okay in these virtual worlds, especially when it comes to privacy and keeping its users safe in different ways. And in any event, there's hundreds of companies working towards this vision of the Metaverse, and for us as a strategy consultant, design company, and technology company, we've had the privilege to work with some of the leaders in this space over the past few years, and today I want to share 4 considerations for brands and designers creating digital experiences for the real world and the Metaverse. So before I dive into these 4, I want to start with a definition of how we see the Metaverse. Again, there's a lot of talks about it, and everybody has different ways of phrasing it. So I wanted to put our context for it before we go further in. So at Your Majesty, we see the Metaverse as an always-on digital layer of reality that resembles and enhances features of the physical world, enabling inclusive, intuitive, and imaginative creation, collaboration, and transaction. That's rolls off the tongue. Let's see. So with that said, let's go into the first consideration. The first consideration is to getting sensory and tactility right. So in 2020, all fashion fairs and the trade shows, just like this one, were completely shut down thanks to a virus. And for many companies, this was damaging to their business because, especially in the fashion and the supply chain there, they rely on the physical space to show on new fabrics and those kind of things. Some companies did not want to just sit by and wait until the pandemic passed. And one of these companies was a company called RMJ Studio, which is a UK-based company that does textile pattern design. And they came to us and asked if we could help them design a digital tool that helps textile pattern designers doing business during lockdown. The solution that we worked out with them was an online tool called Swatch Editor that sits between the creative process and the sales process for textile pattern designers. It's a web-based tool. It runs on your web browser or in your mobile browser, and it uses 3D to visualize flat textile patterns into 3D representations. So either as a flowing fabric, on a dress that you can customize, or you can upload any other type of 3D models. If you're doing couches, for instance, you could do a pillow or those kind of things. And enables designers to visualize, organize, and share their designs with potential buyers, even from a distance. And for the buyer's perspective, it allows them to visualize products in a way that they maybe couldn't do before. So they can upload their own models to see what's relevant for them and see how the product might look like after they customize this as their creative director would like it to be. So during the project, when we worked, designed out how the tool would work, we interviewed a lot of people, of potential users, but also customers. And we were surprised to see that many users gravitated to one particular feature. And it's this one in the middle called the scrunch, it's basically just putting the flat, the 2D layer, and then allowing you to simulate that you're folding the fabric or scrunching it. When we asked them why, many of them asked that this type of thing allowed them to better imagine how the texture would fold in real life, making it feel more real. So tying this back to the metaverse, and everybody's working towards this, there's a lot of conversation about the importance of making it immersive. And typically that equates to better graphics, better performance, frame rates, and cooler effects. But the learning we took from working with the companies like Swatch Editor is that sometimes it's the tiny details of interactions that simulate reality or physical touch or how much something weighs that really makes the difference and makes it click for the end user. So our considerations for brands working in this space is that you should pay equal attention to building immersive environments as to simulating micro, tactile, and sensory interactions. And for us as designers, we think you should consider exploring creative ways to simulate or mimic physical features that can spark emotional reaction with the end user. Moving to the second consideration, facilitating meaningful co-creating opportunities. One of our first ventures towards the metaverse was our collaboration with a company called the Fabricant. They are a digital fashion house based in Amsterdam, and nowadays they're world famous for their innovation and futuristic vision of the metaverse and also the fashion's play and role within it. They made their first big debut on the fashion scene when they sold this digital-only garment for $9,500 in the Ethereum Summit a few years back, where this was pre-NFTs, where what the customer bought was these two pictures that they could use for Instagram. In 2019, we helped them create their first online platform, which is called Lila, which was at the time the world's first self-expression playground for digital-only clothes. It's a platform that allowed a user to snap a selfie of themselves to create an avatar and then dress that avatar using digital-only clothes. Lila served as a beginning for the Fabricant's vision, and fast forward to today, it's now called the Fabricant Studio, which is a full, complete Web3 platform that allows users to connect their crypto wallets and then co-design, customize, and sell, and also trade digital-only garments as NFTs on the platform. With this, they recently raised a $14 million seed round, or a Series A round, that they're now using to build what they call the wardrobe of the metaverse. So one of the reasons we think that they got it right here is that they always had a very strong focus on co-creation, co-ownership, and co-monetization. And this is the learning that we can take with us as brands of yesterday, is that we need to facilitate the co-creation with the end user. Because it's these moments that historically was where the fashion brand put out a product in the world. Now you need to, if you give space for the end user to also influence that product and also co-own it and potentially even make a living from wearing it or showing it off, that's the path we think we need to move towards. And also that's why we think the companies like the Fabricant is raising the bar for the fashion industry. So what does this mean for brands? We think that brands should make room for meaningful co-creation opportunities with creators, communities, and consumers. And for us as designers, we should consider creating these spaces for unexpected co-creation with the target audience. So thinking about, as perfectionists as we are, designing the A to C journey, where are the moments where we can relinquish some control for the unknown and let the end user figure out what it's going to be? So far, my examples have come from Western companies. The third consideration comes from the East, and that's designing against economic and social disparity. So far, let's see. In 2021, we worked with a company called the Altava Group, which is a company that helps culture-defining luxury brands such as Moncler, Prada, Balmain to enter the metaverse. They do that through their many offerings, which include digitization of luxury goods, its own NFT marketplace to sell these digitized goods, and also their popular mobile styling game, which is a mobile app that is called Altava Worlds of You, which allows its users to dress digital avatars in digitized luxury items that exist in the real world, that they can buy as NFTs. So when we were doing research on the behaviors of the players of this game, we found out that players not only play the game to express themselves, but they use it to find themselves in the first place. Here's a quote from one of the research participants saying that, "I'm generally a shy person and I get easily intimidated by others. Altava gives me a safe space to explore my identities and find my own style." Many of the survey participants expressed that they feel intimidated by the high prices and just walking into, in this example, it's a virtual Prada store, but for many people it's very intimidating to walk into a real Prada store where they know that they can't maybe have the purchasing power to acquire the products in there. So these type of games allows them a safe space to explore and experiment and find themselves and their own identity. And this is what we found a profound insight and taught us to consider digital native experiences an opportunity for us here to create things that was not possible in the physical space. And also consider users that might not fit in with the traditional go to a mall and buy a product stereotype, but we can create experiences that allows new type of fashion consumers to enter the market. So we think that brands should think about alternative models for consumers to access digital fashion items, but also their products in general. It doesn't only need to be fashion items. And as designers, I think we need to consider doing a better job at designing mechanics that not only incentivize competition, but also incentivizes support and collaboration between users. My last consideration, so far we talked a lot about getting people into virtual worlds. On the last point, I want to emphasize that it's also important to reconnecting people with our own physical world as we're moving to a more digital everything. Last year, we worked with a company called SoulSavvy. They're a sneaker community based in the US that combines a technology platform with insider knowledge to help its members buy, sell, and trade unique collector sneakers. So continuing the sneaker topic here. SoulSavvy's community is online first. They run entirely on Slack, which is this chat room. They have around 5,000 paying members across US and Canada and other parts of the world. And what we found so refreshing when we interviewed all these people, or some of them, is that it's an incredible bond between these people. Turns out that loving sneakers on this level can be very lonely if you don't have people around you that share your passion. And facilitating this connection through digital is very important, and that's what SoulSavvy does. But not only digital, but also the physical space. SoulSavvy's physical event attracts hundreds of people from all over the world, where people come together to celebrate the love for sneakers. The simple act of just being in the same room with people that see the world as you is what gives the community its life and its weight and substance. And when we interview them why they're paying for this subscription, setting aside all the technology and all the tech that they got to beat the bots and find the best sneakers at lower prices, most of them ranked the physical event as one of the most important features for them to continue paying for their subscriptions. So we think that the success of SoulSavvy lies in that they facilitate this cross-platform relationship. And that's reassured us that the real world still has a lot of value. And also as designers designing digital experiences, that we need to make sure that we reconnect with the real world. So we think that brands should think about creating seamless cross-world experiences that allows you to move effortlessly between the physical world to the phygital world, to the digital world, and back. And as designers, we should create experiences that help us appreciate our physical world and direct us to restoring our own reality. So there you have it. There was 4 considerations for brands and designers creating digital experiences for the real world and the metaverse. In summary, there was getting sensory and tactility right, facilitating meaningful co-creation opportunities, designing against economic and social disparity, and reconnecting people with our own physical world. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. If you're curious to learn more about Your Majesty, you have all the details over here. At the QR code, you can sign up to our bi-weekly newsletter, which is called 10 Things, and it's a collection of things where we share the best things that, according to us, in strategy, design, creativity, technology. And also, we're currently working on our quarterly research report called State of Digital Fashion, or this issue is called State of Digital Fashion. If you sign up to the newsletter, you make sure that you get it in your inbox when it's out later this month. Thank you.